Hi, welcome back to my life of plants. I'm Newman. Out here on the balcony on this super hot day. The plants are watered. Last night it's about 38 degrees on this balcony, so we won't be out here long. First, I'd like to introduce Stapelia gigantea. And this one was planted up cuttings. And we got another one here. You can see the new stems starting to grow. During this hot tropical weather, these particular Stapelia, Caraluma and Hoodeas grow like weeds. You can see here that this particular Hoodea here is no exception. It is rapidly growing. You can see there are two new stems coming away. This is one plant that can even handle more higher stifling temperatures than cacti can. And I argue that there's nothing that compares to it. The high humidity, that is, very high humidity and heat. And right here is the Slepidaceae family, kind of a succulent plant from Madagascar. It is also non-stop growing, likes plenty of water during this hot tropical weather, and it has very insignificant little green flowers that come out of the joints or the nodules there. These two particular cacti here are Saharensias, and they haven't flowered yet. They still need to do a bit of growing. Over here we have a Stapelia. Its name I can't remember quite, but it is subject to very, very hot temperatures. There's another one growing. I had a lot of it growing last year. It actually I ended up with so much of it I had to throw some of it away. But it had grown so big, and it is growing a lot of stems. This particular cactus here, you can see the new stems coming out. I kind of love how it grows. It's new stems, beautiful, flattened, very tropical, easy to grow. My one is a monster of a thing. As you can see by my arm here, it's quite tall now. These cacti had a water. I would like you to see my Rubutia, and this one does not like any direct sun in our summer here. It puts it through a lot of stress. It was quite wrinkled during the winter. I think I need to give it a bit more water. It has come out of dormancy now. It might flower, it might not, but I definitely know that now I can grow Rubutia going by this one here. When the summer heat comes, I will have to chuck over some heavier shade cloth. This one is Mammillaria prolifera. It's easy to grow. We have the lithops here that are growing really well. Here's one that I've repotted. It's a Mammillaria matudai. I'm looking forward to it growing into a big, massive sausage and hanging down, cascading. This is Oxana. Next to it is Deutericonia, which is a native of the deserts there of Brazil, I think. You can see here that we have a little shade cloth at the moment that will change to heavier shade cloth. Under here, let's have a look. So we have a lot of cacti. I have to talk quickly because the foam will shut off in this extreme heat. This is starting to grow really well, as you can see how bright yellow the new growth is, and this soil is moisture retaining, so when I water it, it'll sorry for the interruption, but we have to go and grab this chafer beetle. There it is. Get you. Ooh. Notorious beetles of Japan. Those things are eat a lot of our plants. They also lay eggs, and their grubs are really terrible. So I have to use this systemic insecticide, which I hate to use, and I don't recommend it to anybody. There's nothing I can do with the grubs. Sometimes I have to tip my plants out of the pot to check if the grubs are in there, pick them out with tweezers, and then slide the plant back in. This is Parodia Lenninghalsio that's repotted in this Akadama. It loves it and it grows fast. This is my recovered Labivia arachnoides that is finally looking good. It required a lot of water from the springtime. I watered it heavily. I'm not kidding you. Almost every day I come out and water it thoroughly to get it back to this condition. Same here with these Parodia mammulosa. That is a big drinker of water. And up here, my Labivia grafts looking good. This is Espastor, Orioceras, which surprisingly does well here. Oh, you got a good watering the other day. Parodium, what else here? See, I'm starting to fade out now because of the heat. I'm gonna have to give up soon. Wow, look at these seedlings. Oh, welcome back. The camera cut out, but that was expected. Just because the heat, as you know, has been extreme. The cell phone can't put up with it for very long, and it'll cut out. So here we are inside to finish off the update. And how many others of you find it hard to look at a camera while you're talking? Because my eyes want to shift around like this when I'm talking, but it looks like I got a weird mental disorder when I do this with my eyes, but I don't mean to. It's just that I find it hard to stare at a screen while I'm talking. And you can see that I got a lot of tropical plants, and those would be the hoodias and stapelias, and Caralluma is another one that does really well here, even though I don't have them. They love this high humidity climate, high temperatures during the summer. My plants have, my cacti in particular, I've been able to water them every 1 to 2 weeks, and I water them really well. I've given them 4 or 5 good waterings with the sorry, there's a fly fungus net. I don't have many of those around, so that's quite rare. I do applications 4 to 5 times during the as the temperatures start to heat up from late spring. And what I do is I add Epsom salts or magnesium sulfate, and that is because as you're watering with tap water from the hose, it flushes out fertilizers and salts, calcium and magnesium and sulfur and zinc and boron, and all of those trace elements are pretty hard for the cacti to get anyway. And magnesium sulfate or Epsom salts is the magic for your plants, because what it does is it unlocks trace elements that are otherwise trapped in the soil, that are hard for the plants to get them because they're not able to be dissolved with normal tap water that just has chloride in it. And you will see the results in your cacti's growth. Not only the growth, and the growth is not growth where you just bang on a whole lot of slow release fertilizer. It is going to make the very important minerals like phosphorus and magnesium and calcium. I'm trying to remember all the names of these things, but they are the building blocks of the cacti's root system, or the mycelium that helps to structure it. It would be like if you get all the vitamins in your body that help to keep your skin flexible, strong, and able to heal, and your bones strong, and your joints supple, and your overall well-being and health, especially your teeth and your blood, and keep your sugars in balance. This is kind of what Epsom salts does, and I've been applying that for the last 2 or 3 years. I don't keep notes. The notes are in my head. It's been about 3 years at least, or even longer than that, for sure. When I invested time in that, and the results have showed. I got these cacti that are more resistant to the high temperatures, that are able to grow quicker, and it's not etiolation or anything like that. It's good quality growth with a nice strong epidermis, good color. The color of the cacti's skin or epidermis, including the spines, is much vibrant and much thicker and healthier. The root systems are better, and I know that for sure because when I water them, they take it all up and put out a lot more growth. I've seen it especially in the Echinopsis. As I showed you before in another video, I did water them about a week and a half or 2 weeks after I repotted them, and they've already outgrown their pots that I put them in, that I should have given them enough room for the next 3 years, but within 6 months they have exploded out of those pots already. And that is the Epsom salts. So you only need to apply it in your water 3 to 4 times, especially during the optimum growth season. Once you reach summer and it starts to go down the other way into autumn and all of that, you can just resume with basic fertilizers and stuff. And the best fertilizer I recommend for cacti and succulents in particular is compressed animal dung, chicken manure, and compressed into pellets, or horse manure, anything that's a manure from animals that's compressed into pellets, because it releases fertilizers consistently and naturally, and in nature it's found in and around cacti from animal droppings, and it doesn't cause any absurd or undesirable growth, where your plant might put on so much growth that it's weak and it flops over, or it's losing its shape. Maybe you got a globular plant that could be a Ferrocactus macrodiscus, and then suddenly you end up with a Trichoceros macrodiscus because the fertilizer is meant too much. It doesn't do that at all. And so the temperatures have been a difference of 8 to 10 degrees. During June, the temperature would go down 10 degrees cooler, so it gets right up, well, on that balcony there, as you know, it gets close to 40, and it'll be a drop of 10 degrees. So that's still optimum growing conditions for a cacti, so that they are still able to do CAM, CAM process, crassulacean acid metabolism, where the cacti do photosynthesis during the day and exchange gases and produce carbohydrates during the night when they open up their epidermis. If you encounter temperatures at night that are over 28 degrees, and if you compare day to night and it's getting below an exchange of temperatures, it goes down to below 8 degrees, so it would be something like 28 to 30 degrees at night. At that time I got to be careful with watering, because what happens is the cacti will go into a kind of a dormancy, and they do that in nature anyway. They do it in winter when rainfall is very low, but not too low. There's a lot of cacti that still get some rainwater, but not that much during the winter. It's very sparse, so here it would be anything from 40 days until you would see any sign of even a bit of rain during the winter. And in the extreme hottest times of the year in their normal habitat, rainfall starts to cut down considerably. It can be thunderstorms, and sometimes the rain comes down, but it can be sparing. The reason why you don't want to water your plants during that time is their acid metabolism is greatly reduced, and they are not able to breathe. They are kind of suffocating in the heat, and they're not able to do their acid metabolism process to make carbohydrates and sugars and grow more roots to put out more growth. They're not able to do it, and so they will abort their feeder roots usually, and they would just keep the main thicker roots there. And if you do water them at that time when they're trying to go dormant, the soil will remain wet because there will be no roots to take up the moisture, and then the plant is susceptible to fungal attacks. And the reason why it's susceptible to it, and you may think, well, it's not going to take the water up, so why would it hurt the plant? I mean, how can it kill it? Well, that's because all the same as a human being, if you think of a human being when they get stressed, and we are not able to take the temperatures like I'm not able to at the moment, I've got to try to cool off. I've got to drink some water. Okay, this doesn't make sense. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that when you're stressed out from the heat, your body goes into survival mode. So you want to retreat from the heat. Number two, you don't necessarily have to eat anything, but you have to rest a whole lot more. You have to get out of the heat, and you feel weak, so that your immune system and everything is compromised to the point you can get heat stroke. So for the cacti, even though they're not human beings, and I'm making a weird comparison here, they are more or less at their weakest when they are going dormant from heat. The extreme heat is, and there's no difference between day and night temperatures so much. So you need about 8 to 10 degrees difference for them to be able to continue that. And if you got even more, like if you got up to 15 degrees difference between day and night, that's even more optimal growing conditions for a cacti. But we're getting into July here. We're going to be going, the difference between night and day is getting shorter. The temperature will be getting closer to 30 at night. So I will notice that the plants won't grow and they become very weak. So they tend to shrivel and not take up any water. So the worst thing you can do is put water in the soil. And what that actually does is that it is the breeding grounds for fungi, because the soil is not able to dry out. Now it's turned into a complete different environment. It's gone from an environment where the soil gets wet and these roots are able to suck it up, and also the roots push out oxygen into the soil, and they keep the soil alive, and there's microbes in there, and they work in harmony with the microbes that are found in and around the root system. So once that environment's gone, it creates a whole new environment where fungi grow, and the fungi will make a connection to the root system and then rot the cactus, and the cactus will succumb to disease much easier when it's at its weakest. So during dormancy, they are weak and they are very susceptible to fungus attack, and so they don't want to be wet. They want to be on the dry side. As I had a talk to another grower in Japan many years ago, they have greenhouses and they have big industrial oscillating fans blowing. They're blowing so hard that I could fly a kite inside their greenhouse. They're blowing that hard. And I said, and those temperatures were, I remember taking in several bottles of water, and I had to keep drinking bottles of water. Every 20 to 30 minutes I'd drink a whole bottle of water to be able to survive in there. And those plants were pretty dry, okay? I didn't see any moisture in them, and a lot of them were starting to shrivel, or they were shriveled up. Not too bad. And I said to him, do you store water? And he says, just a little bit. Just a little bit every week, he said. He said that they're not growing now and they've gone into dormancy because of the heat during the summer. And so he only just watered just the surface of the water just to stop them from getting too dehydrated. And that was just enough to keep them just alive. Okay, what else can I say? That's about it. Thanks for watching, and this was my update. Those cacti that have taproots, like my Cumulapuntia darwinii and Etraviridis, and Mammillaria comptotricha, they have the taproots. They grow in a different medium. Not too different, but it's actually river sand. I buy river sand here in bags, and it's half river sand to half Akadaba. So when I water them, they're still able to take in and hold some moisture, but also it's very more mineral mix. And those plants are not only in the mineral mix, but they are high up on the wall. I've done videos about them before, and they hang about 5 foot up from the balcony. And up there, humidity is much lower, airflow is greater, and the capacity to dry out is faster. It's that much. They dry out that much more that if I was to put my Parodia mammulosa in one of those pots, they would keep shriveling. They wouldn't be able to take in enough moisture before the medium dries out. So that gives you an idea of how much faster they dry out. Those Parodias like to be down on the balcony floor, especially mammulosa and a lot of other varieties, because they like to get watered and they like their moisture to be retained in the soil for the next week. And they don't mind direct rainfall either. They actually benefit from it, so it just gives you an idea of microclimates on the balcony. And I did buy myself a Rubusia miniature that I can't remember the name of. Minuscula or something like that. Rubusia minuscula. And the individual fully grown plants are only this size, and it clusters a lot, and they have very light pink, so light that I can't detect it with my eyes, daisy-like white flowers. And I'm going to be able to grow that now because I have that microclimate up higher. So that's really great because I love Rubusias, and I do have one that I've been trying out. Two things damage it, and that is the extreme heat of August and rust, of course. Rust is another thing that hurts it because its epidermis isn't as thick as a lot of the other plants. However, that's not such an excuse or something that you could use to say that them having a thin skin has got anything to do with being susceptible to rust, because I noticed that with Gymnocalyciums, if I have them out in the open on a table where the light is all the way coming down directly onto them, they have a very healthy epidermis. But if I bring them closer to the wall or anywhere where it's shaded on one side, that side will get the black sooty mold will start to grow on it and attack it and damage the epidermis. And yet Gymnocalycium have thick skins, as you know. So this Rubusia is the heat will attack it, decimate it, kill it. So I have to put up quite heavy shade cloth, keep it out of direct sun during the summer, and it will get a summer dormancy when it gets too hot, like kind of now, and it requires quite a lot of water in springtime, a lot more than you would think. I actually have to water it like a typical outdoor plant in a pot in my garden, that much, to be able to bring it into flowering in my climate. Yeah, so the sooty mold is one and the heat is the other one. And I have had attack from also spider mites. I've also had a go at them or attack them, and it always says that when they come out in the driest season, but the variety of the species that we have here will start to proliferate or breed mainly during the monsoon when it's hotter and sweatier and more humid. Okay, so that's the update. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate all the comments that you send. They all make the difference, and I hope this was interesting for you. and I enjoy growing plants, so I like sharing them with everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.